Now book. What are the questions possible to ask in 1 mark? What are the process involved in reproduction? Pollination and then fertilization. These two processes involved in reproduction. What is the male part of the flower? Stamen. What is the female part of the flower? Stigma. Stamen, male part of the flower. And then anther, stamen, anther, filament, this all the one come under the male part. Stigma, style, ovary, this all the one come under the female part of the flower. Which seed produce into new plants? Which seed produce into new plants? The good quality of seed, the seed is very mature and also good quality, that seed only produce into new plants. What is the main difference between LS and TS of an ovary? What is the main difference? LS means longitudinal section. TS means transverse section. In longitudinal section of an ovary, the seed capable of producing new plants. TS of section of an ovary, the seed cannot able to produce new plants. Okay. Expansion of LS and TS. What is the expansion? LS means longitudinal section. TS means transverse section. Give some examples for the calyx present at the root also, at the fruit also. Give some example. Tomato, brinjal and then lady's fingers. That fruit also present calyx. Next we discuss about the world's largest and heaviest seed is the double coconut. Which one largest and heaviest seed? Double coconut. The seed looks like two coconut fused together. How it is having the two coconut also fused together. That like the big size. It only grows in two islands of the Seychelles. A single seed may be 12 inches long. How many inches long? 12 inches. How many feet? 3 feet in circumference and weight about 18 kilogram. How much weight? 18 kilogram. Which is the largest seed? Coconut. That one double coconut. How many inches long? 12 inches. How many feet? 3 feet. What is the weight of the coconut? 18 kilogram. Next, orchid have the smallest seed in the plant kingdom. Which is the smallest seed? Orchids. 35 million seeds may weight only about 25 gram. 35 million seeds, how much weight? 25 gram only. Which one largest seed? Double coconut. Which is the smallest seed? Orchids. Next question answer. Ginger is considered to be a stem, not a root. Why? Gingers grow under the soil. Gingers grow under the soil. It is not a root. It is not a root. It is a modified stem. It has definite growth and grows horizontally, but roots grows vertically. Roots are thick and swollen, but ginger is a thick stem with nodes and internodes. So ginger is considered as a stem, not a root. Write about the post-fertilization changes. Calyx sometimes persist with fruit. Petals wither or fall off. Androecium fall off. Pistil remains and develops into a fruit. Style and stigma fall off. Ovary enlarges to store food materials and develops into a fruit. Ovules present inside the ovary develops into seeds. Draw the Draw and label the structure of LS and TS section of an ovary. Longitudinal section of an ovary and then transverse section of an ovary. What are the questions possible to ask in the above topic? Asexual reproduction. What do you mean by asexual reproduction? Without the involvement of pollination and fertilization process is known as asexual reproduction. How many types of asexual reproduction? 4 types. What are they? Vegetative propagation, budding, spore formation and then fragmentation. In vegetative propagation, what are the parts involved in reproduction? Root, stem and leaves can help to propagate the plant. Root part, stem part and leaves also produce new plants. Budding. Which one gives soft in nature? Yeast. We see so many types of cakes and bread. These are very soft in nature. This is due to the presence of yeast. How the yeast reproduce? Through budding. Through budding. What is the shape of the yeast? It is round in shape. Some small projection. That one bulge-like structure come out from the yeast. That one grow into a new individual. What is the division? Asymmetric division. Asymmetric division. It undergoes asymmetric division. It produces a small protuberance which gradually grows into new plants. Same like that parent plant. Give an example for fragmentation. Spirogyra. Where it is grow? It grow in water. It grow in water. It is a unicellular or multicellular organism. It is a unicellular organism. It grows into fresh water. It is a type of algae. What are the conditions essential for spore formation? What are the conditions? Enough water, low temperature, needed nutrients, also need for spore formation. Which one produce new individual? The spores only produce new individual. Give some example for spore formation. Algae, fungi, moss and ferns produce into spores. This only grow into new plants. In some plants, the leaves are modified into spines. For what purpose? An adaptation to reduce transpiration. Where it grow? It grow in desert area. Give an example for leaf. Reduced to spine. Which one? Cactus and then spines. Cactus and then opuntia. Next, which part produce nutrients? Which part produce food? The stem part only produce food. Give some examples for modification of root. For what purpose? Special functions. The roots change their shape and size for storage of food materials. And also some special function. What are the functions? First one, beetroot. These roots are top shaped. For what purpose? Store the food material. Example, beetroot. Next, banyan. This one, root for which purpose? Mechanical support. Mechanical support. Next, gaseous exchange. Gaseous exchange, which one? Avicennia plant. The roots where it is present? Above the ground, above the soil. For what purpose? Gaseous exchange. Otherwise called nematophores. The gases exchange otherwise called nematophores. Sucking root. Example Cuscuta. Why? It is a parasitic plant. The root, otherwise called Haustoria or sucking root. Why? The roots, it is a parasitic plant. The roots penetrate the host plant to suck the nutrients from the host plant. So, this is called sucking root. Example, Cuscuta. Next, modification of stem. Stem modified for storing the food materials and for vegetative propagation. This purpose, the stems are modified. What are the functions? Aerial modified. Example, cactus. The leaves are modified into stem part for conserve water purpose. Next, Eichhornia. Subaerial modification. The leaves arise from the axial part of the root. Why? They grow in water for easily floating purpose. The roots are present under the water. Next, underground stems, colocasia. The stems are modified and store the food materials. So, this one, example, what? Colocasia. Next, modification of leaf. Leaves have changed themselves to adapt to their environment where they grow. That place want to survive. The leaves are modified to adapt to their environment. First one, spines. The leaves are modified into spines to store the food materials and also escape from their enemies. Example, Opuntia. Next, tendrils. Pisum sativum. The leaf part converted into spiral-like structure. For what purpose? Climbing other plants. Next, pillowed. The leaves are modified into small thick-like structure. That one, pillowed. Next, trals. Nepenthes plants. The leaves are modified into flask-like structure for attract the insects and also tiny microorganisms. Through the insects and tiny microorganisms, they get nutrients. Where it is grow? It grow in nitrogen deficient soil. Example, Nepenthes. What will happen if pollen grains of rose gets deposited on stigma of lily flower? Will pollen germination takes place? Why? If pollen of rose gets deposited on stigma of lily flower, then germination will not take place, though many pollens land on the stigma of flowers. Only the pollen of flowers belonging to the same species germinate to form the pollen tube to reach the ovary. What will happen if the pollen grains of rose get deposited on stigma of lily flower? They do not any reaction. Why? The same flower only, the same kind only reach the flower only, that one pollination takes place. Here given pollen grains of rose, but here given stigma of lily. So only if the pollen of rose gets deposited on stigma of lily flower, then germination will not take place. So many pollen land on the stigma of flowers. Only the pollen of flowers belonging to the same species only germinate to form the pollen tube to reach the ovary and produce into a new plant. Here another one species given, so they do not give any one reaction and also not produce any one seeds. Write down the types of asexual reproduction: vegetative propagation, budding, fragmentation, spore formation. Next, answer in detail. Write a short note on budding and spore formation. Budding. Cakes and breads are soft in nature due to the presence of yeast. Single yeast undergoes asymmetric division. It produces a small protuberance which gradually grows and detaches from the parent cell. This process is called budding. Cakes and breads are soft in nature. Why? Due to the presence of yeast. Single yeast cell undergoes asymmetric division, produces into small protuberance, that means small bulge-like structure. That one grow into new individual and detach from the parent cell. That only that process is called budding. Next is spore formation. During the unfavorable conditions, non-flowering plants like algae and fungi, moss and ferns produces spores. Which one produces spores? Algae, fungi, moss and ferns produce spores. Why? They all the one come under non-flowering plants. They germinate into new plants when favorable conditions are returns. Give some examples for root for storage. Beetroot, turnip, radish and carrot. Where it is grow? All the one grow under the soil. What is the shape of the root? Tap root. Come under the tap root. What is the shape of radish? It is spindle shape. What is the shape of carrot? Conical in shape. What is the shape of beetroot? It is top shaped. Give one example for mechanical support. Banyan tree. What is a root? It needs support not to tilt and fall down. What purpose? Many plants require such additional support. For which root provide? Aerial parts to provide mechanical support. These roots grow downwards and act as supportive organ. How many types of roots present? 3. What are they? Rope root, stilt root, and then last one climbing roots. Give one example for climbing roots. Beetle, black pepper. Where is the root present in climbing roots? Nodes and internodes parts. What purpose? It climb efficient purpose. It climb other plant efficiently. That purpose, the roots are present in the nodes and internodes part. Stilt root, where it is present? It is present in the node part. Nodes. Nodes means kanu. Do you know Vanda is an epiphytic plant? Which one epiphytic plant? Vanda. Where it is which grows on trees. The velamen tissue present in the epiphytic root absorb moisture to perform photosynthesis. What purpose the root are present? Absorbs moisture from the soil. For what purpose? To perform photosynthesis purpose. Roots for other vital function. That one. The roots perform special function. Which function? Sucking roots. Suck nutrients from the host plant. The roots otherwise called haustoria are sucking roots. They depend usually host plant. For what purpose? Nutrients purpose. Example, Cuscuta. Explain in detail about mechanical support and types of roots. As the banyan tree is large and huge, it needs mechanical support not to tilt and fall down. Many plants require such additional support. Such plants develop root on their aerial parts to provide mechanical support. These roots grow downward and act as supportive organs. What are the 3 types of modified roots for support? Probe roots, stilt root and climbing roots. Probe roots, stilt roots and climbing roots. Explain the following: gaseous exchange, roots for other vital function. Gaseous exchange. Avicennia is a tree which grows in mangrove swamps. Where it is grow? It grows in mangrove swamps. They have roots which are seen above the ground for the purpose of gaseous exchange. Where it is present? The roots are present above the ground. For what purpose? The purpose of gaseous exchange. These roots are erect, bag-like structure with numerous pores through which air circulates. Where the air circulates? The roots are numerous pores present through which air circulates. These roots are called breathing roots, otherwise called pneumatophores. Next, roots for other vital function. Roots may also perform special functions. These roots are called sucking roots. Cuscuta is a parasite plant. Climb the trees and other vegetation and use the hostorial roots to penetrate the tissue of the host plant and suck the nutrients from them. They are usually found in parasitic plants that depend on the host plants. For what purpose? For nutrition purpose. Modification of stems. What is the common? Ginger, onion, bulb, potatoes. All the three are stems only. The stem may be aerial, subaerial or underground stems. First, aerial modification. Pillow clade means that one stem part modified into spines. Example, cactus. Next, subaerial modification. The roots grow horizontally on the surface. For what purpose? The purpose of reproduction. Where it touches the ground, it grows into new plants. How many types of subaerial modification? 4. What are they? Runner, stolen, offset, and then sucker. Last one, sucker. Give an example for runner. Candila. Candila means vallarai. Next. Wild strawberry is an example for stolen. Where it grow? It grows some upwards. After that one bend down towards the ground. That one that touches the ground, it grow into new plants. Next. Sucker one, give example. Chrysanthemum. Give an example for sucker. Chrysanthemum. Chrysanthemum na samandipu. How it grow? How it produce new individual? It is a short and weak lateral branch that grows diagonally upwards and directly give rise to a new shoot. Ecornia is an example for offset. Where it grow? It arises from the axial part of the leaf. Axial part of the leaf. Cluster of roots present below. Where it present? It below the water. Above the water, which one present? The leaf present. The underground modification. Which part underground modification? The stem part swell and become thick. That only underground modification. How many types of underground stems? There are 4 types. What are they? Rhizome, culm, tuber, and then last one, bulb. What do you mean by rhizome? It grow under the stem part become thick. Nodes and internodes, scaly leaves are present. The rhizome have a buds. Which one have a buds? The rhizome have a buds. It grow into new stems and leaves. Example, ginger and turmeric. Next, culm. This is a stem. It is round in shape, top and bottom. Top and bottom, how? Flat in shape. The center part of the stem part round in shape, top and bottom flat in shape. Example, colocasia. Next, tuber. The stem part store the food material. It grows into bulge-like structure. That one. It is an enlarged spherical underground stems that stores food. It has a many dormant buds on its surface known as eyes that buds produce into new plants. Example, potato. Next, bulb. How many types of leaves present in bulb? Two types of leaves. What are they? Fleshy leaves and then scaly leaves. In that onion and garlic, which type of leaves present? Fleshy leaves are present. Modification of leaves. The leaves of several plants get modified into different form based on the purpose and environment. First one, spines. Give one example for spines. Opuntia. Next, tendrils. The leaf part, end of the leaf part, that one modified into elongated structure. For what purpose? Climb efficiently. Give an example for tendrils. Gloriosa superba and then Pisum sativum. Next, last one, pillowed. In Acacia aurichloroformis, the leaves are leaf-like petioles expand to form leaf-like structures. What is the use? This one used for photosynthesis. Last one, Nepenthes. Here you see the picture. The leaves are modified into how? The leaves are modified into flask-like structure to attract insects. Through the insects, they get nitrogen. Through the insects, which one get nitrogen? Example, Nepenthes. Where it is grow? It grow in nitrogen deficient soil. How the nitrogen digested? The plant produce some digestive enzymes. What is underground modification and types of underground stems? In underground modified stems, the whole stem is buried under the ground and it has definite growth. Usually, stems grow above the ground, but there are some stems that grow under the ground to store food. These underground stems swell and become thick. There are 4 types of underground stems. They are rhizome, culm, tuber, bulb. Explain the leaf modification and types of modification. Modification of leaf. Plants have changed themselves to adapt to their environment they grow. One of them is the modification of leaves. Leaves of several plants get modified into different form based on the purpose and environment. Types of modification. Spines. Example, Opuntia. Tendrils. Example, Pisum sativum. Third one, pillowed. Example, Acacia. Traps. Example, Nepenthes. Thank you, students. I hope you understood this class. Do well. All the best. Thank you, students.